Pound dollar daily forecast, December 29th, fxempire.com. Pound dollar fell rapidly during the session. As you can see, I'm recording this towards the end of the New York session, and it does continue as traders are taking risk off all the way around the world in various markets. The recent range between 154 and 158 has been very contained, has contained the cable quite well, and as a result, we have to see whether or not we actually will break through. The real bottom of support we have marked at 153. We think of this more or less as a 200 pip zone, perhaps a 100 pip zone if you're counting 154, but there is a ton of support in this area. The daily candle is closing at the very bottom of the range, and that is an indication that we could see follow through. The level isn't broken in our minds, the support level, until 153 gets closed on the daily close below it. So we're currently just watching with interest. We don't necessarily want to buy, although we can see the case for making a bounce type of play here. The reality is the move downward during this Wednesday session has been quite brutal, and many times these lead to larger moves. The Bank of England's been working against the value of the pound, so there's no real reason to think that it will rise over time anyways. The upside situation would be very tricky for bulls. These highs at 158 have to give way on a daily close to believe that the sentiment has changed and we are going higher. In an environment like this, traders tend to sell things that are riskier first and ask questions later. They're running to the dollar in droves against many other currencies. There's no reason to see why they won't on this one. Looking at the charts zoomed way out, you can see that we have a little bit of a head and shoulders going here. It is a complex one, but if we break, I'll even look at the weekly, if we break the weekly head and shoulders here at 153, this pair goes much lower, perhaps as much as 1,000 to even 1,100 pips based upon the measurements. With all of this in mind, we're waiting to see if we get a daily close below 153 to sell cable aggressively. Right here, though, we think that there's a ton of support, and although this looks very negative, we could see a bit of a bounce, so we're not really willing to step in at this point.